Welcome back to Rebel Watch. I'm Browning Stubbs. Now joined by a very special guest and Ole Miss Athletics Director Ross Bjork. Ross, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show. And Ross, I want to start with the hot topic on campus, the Pavilion. I mean, it's a great success. Now, talk about just how the revenue has turned out for it and how you think the Pavilion has changed the culture of Ole Miss athletics.
You know, it's hard to picture where we were before, because the memories that are being seared, I think, in the fans' mind and the students' mind are tremendous. First class, where am I? Am I in Oxford? Is this really Ole Miss? So really, literally, overnight, when we opened the doors at the Pavilion, it changed our athletic program, it changed our basketball programs, and I think it changed our campus. That this is a destination-type university, this is a destination-type building. It's more than just basketball, milkshakes, chicken fingers, French fries, entertainment, video board, students right on top of the court. There's so many elements to it that I think we did at the highest level that give people confidence in our athletic program. So revenue-wise, we're up $500,000 in ticket sales compared to last year at this point in time, just in men's basketball. We tripled the amount of women's basketball ticket sales. Too early to tell on the Steak and Shake, Raising Cane's. Those numbers are just now coming in. But it's packed. You go in there at lunchtime, you go in there at 2 o'clock, it's packed right now. And so we're really excited, and it's a game changer for the entire university.
Now, it's not just the Pavilion that's the newest thing on campus. Ross, apparently there's going to be some new renovations with Vaught Hemingway Stadium, the Ole Miss Baseball Complex. What more can you tell us on the future stadium renovations?
You know, I tweeted a picture this morning of the front row of the student section, which literally is about 14 feet from the end zone line of the playing field. So we moved the students closer. We're going to have 10,000 seats for this. This is a student-oriented show. We want to talk about students, right? 10,000 seats for the students, closer to the action. Really your own section, if you will, closer to the Grove there on the north end zone. So that's what's happening now. We're building out that north end zone. They're laying steel right now for the seating bowl. They're doing all the underneath footings and piles and concrete and steel, and then we're refinishing the football playing field itself. We're putting in natural grass. So they're digging out rock, they're digging out sand. They'll lay sod later this spring to have a brand new, grass stadium field. So a lot of improvements to Vaught Hemingway. There'll be some signage things. There'll be a new video board. There'll be 2 new video boards in the south end zone. We'll finish out our south end zone club area and really have a stadium that we can all be proud of. And then you look over time, what happens next? What happens to the concourse spaces, restrooms? But that's what'll be ready for 2016.
Well, that's great. We're very excited about that. Now, Ross, there have been some NCAA allegations that Ole Miss has heard about. You last said that the investigation was over. Is there any more that you can tell us about it?
Really, what I'll say about it is we take this very serious. We do not look at these things lightly. Compliance, integrity is really what we have to do every single day. Every hour of every day, we've got to be diligent about what we do. And so right now, it's a process. There's a defined process. We're in that 90-day period where we have a chance to really defend ourselves, to provide a response, admit the things that we believe happened, and then look at the things that we don't necessarily view the same way. And that's a whole process that'll play out. So towards the end of April will be the next sort of round of public conversation around this. We'll provide the notice of allegations, we'll provide our response, we'll have some talking points with that, and then we go to the next step, which really kind of lays out in the summertime with a hearing and those sort of things. So beyond that, we're not going to comment on the nature of it because it's a fairness process right now, and we have a chance to respond. So we're in that stage right now.
Do you think there's been any type of distraction that's been a part of the program?
It's obviously in the news, and you can't run away from that. It's it's part of the deal, if you will. It is what it is, as people like to say, and so we have to be mindful of how we lead the program, how we talk, what we talk about, knowing this is a serious matter, knowing we can be as transparent as possible with as many people as possible, from recruits to our fans to our donors, and we've tried to do that along the way. And so, is it a distraction? Yes. Do we have a lot of momentum in our program right now that we can speak to that says, look at how we're doing things. Look at how we're doing things at the highest level. We will not lose momentum. That's the key here, is continue the momentum, and we're confident that we can do that.
And just quickly, you've been here since 2012. A lot of great moments for Ole Miss athletics. What are some of your favorite moments?
You know, it's really hard to say, you know, as baseball season is opening up, you know, being there in Lafayette, Louisiana in 2014 to see the way we came back in those last 2 games was really special to be there, especially for some of those guys that I was close to, like Will Allen. You know, special memories like that. You know, the kick against LSU in 2013, winning the game, you know, in the last second, storming the field. All the Egg Bowl victories, you know, we're 3-1 in the Egg Bowl. That's important, I think, to the Ole Miss people. The Sugar Bowl was so special, but I look at moments that don't get a lot of attention. You know, Maddie Friedman kicking a goal against Arkansas with literally 1 second left on the clock to win a match on the road, watching that on my iPhone at the Alumni Awards Banquet. Those things like that you can point to that says, you know what, we're on the right track, we're doing great things. It's those moments with our student athletes that mean the most.
Now, let's do a quick little rapid fire. We engaged with our Twitter followers. They sent us some questions that we wanted to ask you. So, at Sarah Moncrief asked, you know, that going to class campaign that you were a part of.
Yeah.
She wants to know, how often did you skip class in college?
You know what? I'm proud to say that in high school and college, unless I was traveling for athletics, I never missed class. Perfect attendance, unless it was an excused absence. So go to class, right?
Yes, and our sports director, David Kennedy, he has a question. What would it take for Ole Miss hockey to become a Division I sport?
That's a great question. I would say we need a building on campus, right? I would say that more interest and ability of our student body would have to take place. And then the other thing, because of some Title IX dynamics that we live in and are obligated to, we would have to add probably 3 or 4 women's sports. And so what are those sports? And where do you house them? And how do you fund it? And all those kind of things. So I'm really proud of our club hockey team. They do great on a pretty big stage nationally. They're always competing at the highest level. But it would take a lot to add hockey as a intercollegiate sport at Ole Miss.
And lastly, Kristen Banks asked, you know, let's put your analyst hat on. What will it take for Ole Miss to win the series against Louisville this weekend?
You know, I think we got to be aggressive at the plate. I really do. I think these guys, the Louisville pitching staff is one of the top staffs in the country, but I think we have to be aggressive. We have to get on them early, limit strikeouts, I think is very important. Our lineup is terrific. We have a lot of talent, but I think we have to be really aggressive. And obviously, you got to stop them from scoring, you know, so pitching has to be consistent. We're really athletic in the outfield, so I think we can chase balls down. We're really athletic up the middle, so defensively we're strong. Just got to make sure they don't hit it and make sure we hit it more than they do.
You know, I think you'll be on ESPN in a couple of years.
Maybe I'll go on the SEC network.
That'd be great.
All right.
All right. Well, Ross, I want to thank you for coming on, and
thank you.
And we'll talk to you down the road. Coming up, we're going to talk some Ole Miss hoops. RebelWatch, we'll be right back.